Parliament passes the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion kwacha. Malawi joins the rest of the world in commemorating World TB Day with a call for urgent action to promote early diagnosis and treatment to eliminate the disease. And in sports, Flames coach Kalisto Pasua names a 25-man squad for the upcoming Four Nations tournament scheduled from 28th to 31st March in Botswana. Glad you could join us. We started with the headlines and now the news in detail. Parliament has passed the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion kwacha. This followed the passing of 59 votes to various government ministries, departments and agencies earlier in the day. We have a report by Catherine Banda and Beatrice Mape.
After a long day deliberations, scrutinizing and seeking clarifications, members of Parliament passed the 2026-2027 national budget. The one-day Committee of Supply started with the State Residences vote and concluded with the Malawi Law Commission vote. Among others, the Ministry of Agriculture has received a lion's share of over 971 billion kwacha, subvented organizations receiving over 440 billion kwacha. Roads Fund Administration receiving 447 billion kwacha, Ministry of Health and Sanitation receiving over 558 billion kwacha, and Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has received over 316 billion kwacha. Speaking after passing the budget, the Minister of Finance, Joseph Manamveka, assured people in the country that Parliament will play its oversight role to ensure the funds are being used prudently.
And I want to assure to the nation that we will take them into account and make sure that this budget is being implemented properly and to the benefit of Malawians. And in addition to that, I also want to ensure that for this budget to be implemented, there is need for oversight. And oversight is not only Parliament. Even the people in the constituency have a role to play. The chiefs have a role to play. The councillors have a role to play. So together, if we work together to implement this budget, which I believe that I think it speaks to the wishes of Malawians, and I believe that if we all monitor, if we work together, I'm sure we're going to have a successful year, the year 2026-2027.
On issues raised by the Budget and Finance Committee of Parliament on debt management, foreign currency and financial levies, among others, the Minister says government has given priority to ensure forex availability and it is working to address other financial hitches.
The major challenge that we have as a Minister of Finance that we need to tackle head on is the issue of foreign exchange availability. I am aware that the business is suffering. People that go outside Malawi, let's say to Tanzania, Zambia, are struggling to go to do their business. And I am aware also that the private sector is failing to get raw materials. I want to assure them that this government will make sure that we have foreign exchange, and not in the black market. The foreign exchange should be with the banks. So that's what we'll try as much as possible to do. Once we address the issue of foreign exchange, I can assure you that now the economy will be moving into the right direction. I'm saying this because the other macroeconomic fundamentals are moving very well.
The Minister says the budget is responding to the needs of Malawians and has also incorporated some inputs that various organizations raised.
Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization Joseph Manamveka says government is in the process of auditing the construction of 10,000 security personnel houses. Manamveka said this in Parliament on Tuesday. The minister said government noted that there has been mismanagement of the funds, hence halting the project. He has since assured the public that this will not affect construction of houses for persons with albinism. Manamveka explains.
I believe that there was some mismanagement there. We need to be addressed before we give more resources. But for the houses for the people for albinism, I think the resources are provided. You can check on they are there. But the audit is on the 10,000 houses for the police, for the army, for the prisons and all that. That's where the audit is taking place, not for the houses for the albinism.
The Ministry of Justice has challenged the International Justice Mission, IJM, to consider providing support to justice institutions serving the less privileged in the country. Minister of Justice Charles Muhango said this during an engagement session the ministry had with International Justice Mission on violence and access to justice for women and children. Muhango expressed hope that building capacity for institutions like the Legal Aid Bureau as well as the judiciary could go a long way in improving access to justice for vulnerable groups. Details in this report.
The International Justice Mission, which conducted a survey in 2022 on the state of human rights among women and children, observed that there are still gaps in access to justice among the less privileged. Justice Minister Charles Muhango has since pledged to work with the International Justice Mission in building capacity for justice institutions, including the Malawi Legal Aid Bureau, Malawi Prisons, Malawi Law Commission, as well as the judiciary.
We lack capacity, especially at magistrate level across the country. And again, we also highlighted the issue of victim support units, which are established in the police establishments. What capacity, what expertise do those units have to handle victims of gender-based violence or indeed the violence against women and children? And we have called upon the International Justice Mission to help in their programming.
And the International Justice Mission Chief Program Officer for Africa and Europe, Simon Manning, has expressed optimism that IJM will work in partnership with the government to address the gaps.
I would emphasize what the Minister has already highlighted in terms of capacity development, and particularly around what we would call trauma-informed approaches to justice. The capacity that all public-facing aspects of the justice system are able to deal with women, deal with children who have suffered crimes in the most appropriate way. And IJM has a lot of experience in capacity building on this issue. I think there is a lot of openness in the Malawi justice system to learn more about that.
The International Justice Mission, which is headquartered in the USA, is a human rights agency that protects the poor from violence, restores survivors of violence, as well as strengthens justice systems in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development has called on citizens to follow proper procedures to ensure adherence to construction standards and institutional discipline. Minister responsible Chimwemwe Chipungu made the remarks in an interview with MBC following a surprise visit to Livimbo in Lilongwe, where some individuals have constructed warehouses in a residential area. He explained that the owners claimed they had obtained permission from Lilongwe City Council to construct the warehouses, prompting the ministry to launch an investigation into the matter. The minister said the visit was prompted by a tip-off. Chipungu explains.
We were tipped by Malawians of good standing of this plot. As you remember, in 2019, there was also an issue of illegal construction of the warehouses that we can see on that side. So people around here and Malawians were surprised to see these developers continuing the construction of their warehouses when they were given a stop. So we came here to check and to find out the reasons as to why they continued with their construction of warehouses on a settlement land. We have been notified that the City Assembly did give them an approval, of which we don't have as a line ministry. When you get back to the offices, we'll sit back and to verify the documents if they are authentic and take appropriate action if necessary.
The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, has received a 200 million kwacha donation from the National Oil Company of Malawi, NOCMA, to support ongoing humanitarian assistance for households affected by floods following heavy rains in some parts of the country. Commissioner for DODMA, Wilson Moleni, described the donation as timely, saying it will help cover part of the required 17 billion kwacha to assist affected communities. In its latest update, DODMA reports that between 15th and 20th March, a total of 39,000 households were affected by heavy rains, with 142 injuries and 29 deaths. Chinsinsi Moyo reports.
The donation by the National Oil Company of Malawi, NOCMA, is expected to ease the suffering and meet the immediate needs of people affected by extreme weather events. The Commissioner for the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, Wilson Moleni, says there's an urgent need for humanitarian assistance as assessments are still underway.
As a department, we've been going around doing the assessments, distributing relief items to those affected. We do have a resource gap, and the donation done by NOCMA has come at the right time. We need relief items. We need food and non-food items for the affected households.
In her remarks, NOCMA Director of Finance, Sophia Mkandawire, commended DODMA for its efforts in coordinating disaster response. Mkandawire says NOCMA will continue working with relevant stakeholders to support the rehabilitation of selected health centers in the affected areas.
When there's a crisis, access to healthcare is critical. So sometimes the healthcare facilities in our remote areas maybe are not adequately resourced for disaster times like these ones. That's why we would like to partner with government in rehabilitating them so that people that have been impacted can access good healthcare.
Malawi has been experiencing normal to above normal rainfall, which has led to flooding in some disaster-prone areas. Chinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Secretary for Health and Sanitation, Dr. Dan Namarika, has called for urgent action to promote early diagnosis and treatment of tuberculosis, TB, as Malawi intensifies efforts to eliminate the disease. Speaking during the joint World TB and Leprosy Day commemoration held at Mitundu Primary School ground in Lilongwe on Tuesday, Namarika warned that delays in seeking proper diagnosis and treatment are fueling the continued spread of TB, Olive Piri reports.
Speaking during the commemoration, Secretary for Health, Dr. Dan Namarika, expressed concern that some healthy facilities without testing capacity continue to treat patients for ordinary cough even when symptoms persist. He said this practice is derailing efforts to detect and manage TB early. Namarika adds that significant progress has been made in fighting TB, though men are the most affected group due to a number of factors.
The major challenge for men is behavior and their way of living. So most men don't have a health-seeking behavior. Most of them are busy, and they also indulge in practices that put them at risk of contracting TB and HIV. Most men, in fact, the smoking rate is high among men. Alcohol consumption is high among men.
World Health Organization country representative Charles Kuria Njuguma commended Malawi for reducing TB incidence by 72% and achieving a treatment success rate of over 90%, describing this as a reflection of strong leadership and commitment.
It is given that in the last 20 years, the country has been able to reduce the TB prevalence by about 72%. That's commendable. But we have to remember that this is going to be a joint effort whereby all the partners are involved, all communities are involved, because if we do that, then we are going to peak TB cases that are even remote places in this country.
Meanwhile, Executive Director for the African Institute for Development Policy, AFDEP, Elias Zulu, said the organization has intensified TB research and policy support to help Malawi make evidence-based decisions in tackling the disease.
One of our big programs that we've been doing over the last 6 years has been looking at TB. Before that, we had another program in 10 countries. This one is happening in 4 countries, Malawi, Uganda, Kenya, and Nigeria, where we're trying to look at how do we really accelerate progress in ending TB by 2030.
In 2025 alone, 18,633 people were initiated on TB treatment nationwide, with 11,835 of them being men, highlighting the disproportionate burden of the disease on the male population. During the commemoration, journalists who have produced outstanding stories on TB were recognized, including MBC's Doreen Sonani and Meklina Chirwa. 3 best performing districts and top spread correction points were also awarded for their contribution to the fight against TB. This year's commemoration is held under the theme, Yes, We Can End TB Together, or the leprosy theme is Leprosy is Curable, and the real challenge is stigma. Olive Piri, MBC News, Lilongwe.
You're watching the latest edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Parliament passes the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion kwacha. Malawi joins the rest of the world in commemorating World TB Day with a call for urgent action to promote early diagnosis and treatment to eliminate the disease. And in sports, Flames coach Kalisto Pasua names a 25-man squad for the upcoming Four Nations tournament scheduled from 28th to 31st March in Botswana.
Kuno ndi ku Malawi, dziko lodzaza ndi kuthekera makakwa iwo ogwira ntchito molimbika. Iwo ochita malonda ali nazo zifukwa zonse zopitisira patsogolo ntchito zawo, monga kukhala ndi yawo post office box. Ndi Malawi Post Corporation sizikutenganso mtunda wautali kuti mubwezeretse kapena kutsekula post office box ndi kuyamba kulandira makalata anu mosavuta. Kwa onse ochita malonda, makampani komanso mabungwe ndi zotheka kukhala ndi post office box yanu kapenanso private bag malingana ndi kukula kwa kampani yanu. Anzanu oona patali anatsekula kale yawo post office box ndipo mtima unachita zii pa nkhani ya chitetezo cha makalata awo chifukwa box yawo amatsekula okha basi. Mukatsekula post office box ndiyo khazikika, ndizothekanso kusamutsa box yanu kupita dera lina. Kuti mubwezeretsenso kapena kukhala ndi post office box, pitani ku post office yomwe muli nayo pafupi. Malawi Post Corporation, worth your trust.
Welcome back. Principal Secretary for E-Government Department in the Ministry of Information and Communications Technology says the implementation of the presidential directive that government ministries, departments and agencies should migrate to digital transactions is on the right course. President Professor Arthur Bida Mutariga, during the State of the Nation address last month, directed that all MDAs should digitize their operations. Now, speaking during a stakeholders engagement on Digital Malawi project in Blantyre, the PS Prosper Mopiwa said they will achieve the directive by making sure that there is connectivity even in remotest areas.
This is also in line with the directive that was given by the President of the Republic of Malawi. And for us as a government responsible for the provision of ICTs for every single Malawian, we've taken this as a step. And this step is the one route that is going to provide this connectivity that the President has emphasized on. And also at the same time, once the connectivity has been done, we are going to provide government services through that connectivity. And the objective is that every single Malawian that is in the rural area should not be able to travel all the way from there to respective headquarters of government service providers. We're talking about the immigration department, we're talking about road traffic and others that provide the government services to citizens of Malawi. We're saying that it's high time that we now go to them, provide them with these services where they stay and not make them travel all the way from wherever they stay at. So this is also in line with the directive that the President of the Republic of Malawi, Professor Arthur Bida Mutariga, had given us in his SONA speech, and we're just merely implementing his vision.
And Public-Private Partnership Commission Chief Executive Officer Patrick Kabambe said in the coming 2 months they will call for bidders to erect network towers in rural areas, among others.
So this is why today we're meeting the private sector, because the private sector are better placed to deliver these services. In the presentation today, we've explained the process we have gone through to identify the 100 sites that will have these cell towers. We've also explained the selection criteria for the 500 public institution sites. All the groundwork has been done, and we will be calling for bids in the months of April, May from private sector to give us proposals on how they can deliver this. So if we get these bids, if we do the adverts in April, May, we can be assured that within this year, the rollout will begin.
Director of Health and Sanitation Services for Mzimba North, Dr. Wamaka Msopole, has urged religious groups and all parents to allow their children to access the polio vaccine, which government has rolled out in the country. Msopole made the call in Mzuzu during the launch of the campaign for Mzimba North.
The vaccination against polio is targeting children under the age of 10. The exercise is taking place from 24 to 27 March 2026. Speaking after the launch of the campaign at Zolozolo Primary School in Mzuzu, Mzimba North Director of Health and Sanitation Services, Dr. Wamaka Msopole, said community members, including religious groups, are being urged to allow their children to take the oral vaccine, which is crucial in preventing polio.
Strategically engaging those communities. So, for example, we are meeting the leadership of some of the communities that we know are usually hesitant to take up vaccinations. And we've also gone further to intensify our sensitization of the whole Mzimba North community, including the city. So we are not leaving any community behind, but we know there are certain communities that we pay special attention to.
Mayor from Mzuzu City, Chiembegezo Moses, said the council is facilitating the vaccination campaign.
We have already engaged the block leaders, the councillors, to tell the community that they should take their children for vaccination.
In Mzimba North, 176,000 children are being targeted in the polio vaccination campaign. Blessings Gondwe, MBC News, Mzuzu.
Meanwhile, over 500,000 children under the ages of 10 have been targeted for polio vaccination in Mangochi. Chief Preventive Health Officer for the district, Chimwemwe Jera, disclosed this during a district executive committee meeting aimed at briefing members on the progress of the vaccination campaign, which was launched on Tuesday, the 24th of March 2026. According to Jera, apart from public health facilities, health officials will move door to door to administer the vaccine, while some will be in strategic places such as schools. The polio vaccination campaign is being conducted across the country following detection of polio case in Blantyre. Jera speaks to our reporter Owen Mavula.
We have done a number of interventions, including the deck that we have today, and we have also briefed the HEC members, and we have also briefed the local leaders as well as the religious leaders. And at the same time, today in the morning, we also launched the campaign at Makawa Primary School. So far, so good. I think we have started at a high note. Our expectation is for them to bring the children to the sites where the vaccine will be administered. Because polio is a dangerous disease, it's a deadly disease, and it's incurable. So once the child is vaccinated against polio, it means the child is protected forever. So our expectation is for them to bring all the children to the sites that have been established by the HSS in the communities.
And finally, in sports, Flames coach Callisto Pasua has named his 25-man squad for the upcoming Four Nations tournament scheduled from 28th to 31st this month in Botswana. Among the squad, the Zimbabwean tactician has included 17 foreign-based stars and 8 local-based players. Malawi, Zimbabwe, Zambia and Botswana will compete at the tournament. Now, speaking after the release of his squad, Pasua said he is confident that the team will deliver.
Yes, as Malawi, as you know, we have been building up a team, and we thought maybe in our preparations in building up a team, this is the chance also where we can look in all departments of the team that we are building to see if we are strong enough to be a challenging team that will participate maybe in the coming games, that is AFCON, World Cup games which we are supposed to be playing. Zambia has been one of the powerhouses of football in Southern Africa. As we are preparing ourselves not to go there and say it's Zambia whom you are playing it, and we don't even care to say they are bringing maybe the local guys. What we know is we are playing Zambia. And the moment we put the mind of saying we are playing the local best, it becomes an issue. Remember last time again we played Sao Tome. We went with that mind of saying we had won last time, and the mind switched off. So we are saying we are playing Zambia, and we raise up our heads in order for us maybe to get results. As a coach, pressure is always there. Or even when you are training, you have pressure. Or even when you are building a team, you need to be having pressure, of course. But at the end of the day, you are the man responsible for all the results. You need also to be, maybe to look what's coming on and also work with your area so that we can sort them out.
And that item wraps up this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Parliament passes the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion kwacha. Malawi joins the rest of the world in commemorating World TB Day with a call for urgent action to promote early diagnosis and treatment to eliminate the disease. And in sports, Flames coach Kalisto Pasua names a 25-man squad for the upcoming Four Nations tournament scheduled from 28th to 31st March in Botswana. For the latest news, follow our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Arthur Chokoto, and Linlin Ponda, our sign language interpreter. Thanks for watching and goodbye.